Nutrition and weight loss is certainly not a one-size-fits-all approach. However, from working with one-on-one clients as well as thousands of A&Peeps around the world, I found that there's 3 strategies that tend to move the needle of decreasing belly fat for most people. Today, I'm sharing those tips that you and probably most of your friends and family can use in order to tap into fat-burning mechanisms and lose belly fat. Now, the first tip is to utilize those cortisol balancing workout routines. Now, cortisol is our stress hormone, it's our fight or flight hormone, and higher levels of cortisol have been found to increase the storing hormone insulin. Now, the reason why this happens is because one of cortisol's main jobs is to increase the blood glucose levels so that you have some type of energy to get you out of a scary situation fast. Now, your body and cortisol perceives all stress nearly the same. So whether it's you need to outrun a tiger or you have a deadline for work, it's going to see it as the same type of stress and therefore release cortisol and raise your blood glucose levels. Now, if you are in a scary situation like running from a tiger, then you're going to really quickly use those blood glucose levels and it will automatically dip back down. But if you're in a constantly stressed state where you aren't necessarily actually using those blood glucose levels, like if you're on a tight deadline for work, or if you just have general stress, or if you got poor sleep, then those blood glucose levels will stay higher. And it's those high blood glucose levels that cause your body to release that storing hormone insulin. And insulin has the tendency to take that blood glucose and store it specifically around the belly. Now, although life will always have stressors, and there's certainly different techniques you can use to decrease stress within life, we also have to consider the compounding effect that our workouts are having on our stress levels too. Now, your own specific workout routine will vary greatly. It'll rely on a bunch of different factors, including if you are able to get a lot of sleep, if you're training for something, if you're able to properly refuel. But one common mistake I see when people are looking to lose belly fat is they often go too hard too fast, and that can actually actively work against losing belly fat. For example, I'll see a lot of people jump straight into a marathon training schedule without first addressing the other stressors that are compounding with now the current stressor of adding in the workout routine too. If you have a high stress job, if you're not getting great sleep, if your meals aren't conducive to reducing cortisol levels, which we'll get more into that in a bit, then you need to ensure that your workouts aren't further adding to that cortisol load. I recently shared my own cortisol balancing workout routine with this video right here. I'll also have it linked down in the description below. But a good rule of thumb is to include as much relaxing outdoor leisurely cardio routine as you possibly can. This includes walking, gentle cycling, or perhaps even a leisurely swim. Now, once you get those in daily, you can from here add in strength training and do that strategically, typically around 2 to 5 days per week. And eventually down the line, you can even include 1 to 2 days per week of a HIIT training or high intensity interval training. Now, most people will do best with not including HIIT training right away, especially if you're finding that with the increased workouts, you're getting increased sugar cravings, which are caused from that cortisol and insulin interaction. But again, I did do a whole video on how you can create your workout routine to balance your cortisol levels, and I'll have that link down the description below. Okay, the second strategy is to get better sleep. Sleep is when our body repairs everything. It's when we process the information from the day before. It's when we repair our muscles. It's when we create new cells for our GI tract, our lungs, our skin, everything. And if we don't get enough sleep, or if we don't get the high quality deep sleep, all of those functions suffer. And in order to play catch up after a poor night's sleep, your body will increase cortisol levels the next day in order to just even keep your body going. And this is why you might even feel more stressed or anxious after you've had a poor night's sleep. Now, if you get one night of poor sleep, this compensation system will help to keep you going for the day, but done on a consistent basis, this high cortisol level will then circle back to the increased insulin and therefore storing mode. And something else to note is that the more stress your body is under, the more repair and therefore sleep you will need. I mean, just think of it like charging your cell phone. If you're at 15%, you're going to be needing to charge it for a lot longer to get to that 100% versus if you charge it at 70%. Same goes with your body. For example, if you pick up training for a triathlon or for a marathon, you need to make sure that you're compensating for that additional stress you're putting on your body by having that rest and repair as well. And that's to compensate for the additional training and the additional stress that's being added on your body. Otherwise, this loss of repair that you get from sleep will just cause that increased cortisol levels and keep your body more in that fat storing mode. I have a bunch of strategies that I like to use for improving my sleep quality, but one of them is using a magnesium supplement. Magnesium is something that we need in pretty much higher amounts than a lot of other minerals. It's also something that's really great, especially if you are starting to work out now for decreased muscle cramps. But magnesium is really great to use to help to naturally relax your muscles and help to naturally produce melatonin, our sleep hormone, as well. Okay, the third strategy is to replace all added sugars with either protein or fat. Another trigger for cortisol production, remember the stress stress hormone is low blood sugar. Remember, one of cortisol's main jobs is to increase blood glucose levels. So if your body notices that we do have those low blood glucose levels, it's going to upregulate and increase the production of cortisol in order to bring those blood glucose levels back up. So if blood sugar levels drop, then cortisol will increase. And one of the main things we want to focus on when the goal is decreasing belly fat is to ensure that the cortisol levels are balanced. So addressing and balancing the blood sugar levels is really important to making sure that cortisol levels are balanced too. And ironically, simple and added sugars lead to low blood sugar levels. It might sound confusing, but let me explain. Initially, sugar and added sugars cause a really big spike in blood glucose levels. This big spike in blood glucose levels triggers your body to release the storing hormone insulin. And the bigger spike you have in blood glucose, the more insulin that will be released, which can cause an overcompensation of storing those blood glucose levels and bring it back down below baseline. So not only are you in more storing mode, but it also can cause your body to quickly decrease the blood glucose levels down below baseline, which then triggers cortisol to be secreted in order to bring it back up. So you're getting that higher insulin level for storing and the higher cortisol level, which is not good for belly fat. So instead, we want to replace any added sugars with something that's going to balance your blood glucose levels instead. And this is where using high quality fats and proteins like avocado, various animal proteins, lentils, beans, certain dairy products if they work for you, olives, nuts, and seeds. All of these are really great for balancing your blood glucose levels and not causing that big spike and drop. This is why in the complete intermittent fasting bundle recipes that thousands of AM peeps are using, the emphasis is protein, fat, and fiber to really stabilize those blood glucose levels for optimal fat burning and energy stabilizing, and just so that we don't have those spikes in cortisol. I'll also have the details for the complete intermittent fasting bundle if you want to check it out down in the description below. Now, if you are looking to lose belly fat, you'll want to check out these 3 cortisol balancing cardio workouts that you can use today. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love this science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out with new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.